Hello, wonderful human. I'm Ekaterina, co-founder of Future London Academy, and I will be your host today, telling you all sorts of stories and information that you need to know, and also sharing my personal insights from the program. So what we're going to do today? First of all, I'll start telling you a little bit more about Design Leaders Program and Future London Academy overall, all your questions. I know so many of you emailed us about what's inside the curriculum, how the structures, all these details I will be sharing in a second. So really excited to give you a bit more in-depth introduction and tell you why we created it and what it's all about. Then, even more exciting, because we will give a tour of our HQ. We've never done it before. So I'm personally very excited because it's literally the magical, the behind the scenes that you will see where the magic is happening. So we will turn around the camera, we'll show where the classroom is, we'll show you the facilities, we'll show you everything that's happening. And what's even more exciting, you will meet the current cohort. These are the people who are currently studying on Design Leaders Program. They are more than halfway through the program, so they're in Module 4 right now. And we've got a few of them who will join us this evening to share their personal experience of what they're learning, how does it feel to be on the inside, anything that, again, they can share from their first perspective, and they can answer any of your questions as well. So very honest, very raw conversations with our current cohort. Very excited about that. And then I'll also want to give you a bit of a sneak peek into the content of the program. My personal philosophy, as well as Future Learning Academy philosophy, is never stop learning. And I also want to make sure that anyone who found time in their busy day to join this call will leave with something helpful, insightful, something you can actually apply to your day-to-day work. So it's all nice to talk about wonderful program that we have, but also I wanted to give you something useful for yourself. No matter if you join the program or not, I want you to learn something that might be helpful in your work, in your company, in the job that you do. So I will be sharing growth marketing strategy, former CMO of Notion. So this is one of our teachers. She's incredibly well-rounded in terms of your marketing experience. She works in incredible organizations like LinkedIn and Slack, and she was a CMO at Notion. And she taught us incredible framework on the program, which is all about community-led growth. So if you're curious about how to grow your business or maybe new marketing strategies that you haven't tried before, stay tuned for this part because I will share the framework that Rachel shared with us, and I will give you a sneak peek of what does it look like in real life. Then we have another part 4, which is conversation with our alumnus. One of our incredible alumnus will join us to answer with more questions. What happens after you graduate? What happens to your life? What changes in your life when you go through the year of the program? And then we'll finish with a Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in. I'll be happy to answer any questions. So please put them in. As well as if you want to see anything in our HQ, so specifically for our HQ tour, let us know if there is anything, like show us where the coffee is. The most important thing for any creator, where is the coffee machine? So let us know what you want to see in our tour. So I make sure that I'll actually point you in the right direction. Well, let's go then. And I want to start with our mission as Future London Academy. We created Future London Academy because we believe that we need to connect creative communities around the world and give them knowledge and inspiration to make the world better. And we've been doing it for over 11 years, and we've educated thousands of people from across the world, from over 100 different countries. And we have an even wider community online for all the webinars, podcast events, and everything else that we do. And it really brings me joy how many diverse, creative, incredibly inspiring people join us from all sorts of corners of the world for all the different things that we do. You probably know us through many things. I wonder actually who here has done any of our online courses. So please put in the chat if you've done one of our incredibly practical online courses. We have courses on creative leadership, brand strategy, product design strategy, creative operations. So all sorts of things, as well as we have a mini MBA, which is like a tiny version of the full program, but gives you the real fundamentals that you definitely need to know if you want to get to the next level. But we also share all sorts of insights on our Instagram, on our LinkedIn, on our newsletter. We have a blog. We try to give everyone across the world a glimpse into what the fastest growing companies are doing, what the most successful businesses are focusing on, what that creative leaders and design leaders right now thinking about. So we share this with everyone on our YouTube, podcast, Instagram, wherever you follow us. If you do follow us, please give us a note in the chat. Again, would love to see who of you actually come from all the wonderful other places that we connect with all of you. And it's very important for us, the idea of sharing with community and bringing people together. So again, love that so many of you are here. Let us know if you've known about us before, if you already interacted with any of our courses, and if you are subscribed to our newsletter that we send weekly with all sorts of great insights from the industry leaders. We are very lucky that we work with some of the most incredible teams, and the leadership teams actually trust us to educate their design teams. So we've got people who study on our program from ASO, from McKinsey, from AKQA, NVIDIA, Apple, Netflix, all these incredible companies that I'm sure all of you know about. And it's so incredible that no matter how senior they are, people still come to learn and get up-to-date knowledge, upskill, and get ahead in their career. So we are very proud to have so many incredible design teams who study on our online and offline courses. And we always have this joke that one day we'll be standing in a room where every single object that you can see, or every single screen maybe you can see or touch, is designed and created by someone who's been through one of our programs. And I have to say, we are getting closer and closer to this goal. Looking at the logos on this page, we definitely have some of the most brilliant and inspiring team who come to study with Future London Academy. And we are very proud of our community, as I mentioned. It's something very special to us. And I do believe that the future overall of the world is about people coming together. And this is why we run so many events and programs and everything to bring people together, and specifically senior creatives. I'm sure you've been in those situations where so many events and places to go for a junior person. If you're just starting out in your career, you can literally go on YouTube and watch content. You can go on any meetup or any conference that is out there. But the more senior you get, the harder it is to find information that is helpful, that is practical, there's something that you actually will get some value from. So this is why we focus only on content for senior creatives and designers. We create events for senior creative and designers. We create courses, we create content, articles, insights, reports, everything just for those of you who already have a lot of experience, already very successful in your own right, curious minds and want to learn more. And this is why you come to us. Now is actually a very exciting time to be a design leader. And by the way, when I say the word design, it's with capital D. Whatever you're creating, you might be an architect, interior designer, you might be working in tech, you might be working in advertising, being a creative or art director, you might be shooting commercial, maybe even musician. I have to say, creativity and design right now is getting in a momentum. And I am so excited that all of you creatives are actually investing their time and thinking about what might be next for all of us as an industry. And I'm sure you've seen the reports from McKinsey, the design-led businesses outperform other businesses and to obviously create more revenue and have higher growth. We all know that now. The problem is that when businesses start thinking about how to bring design in, they sometimes think from different places. And we already see many more chief design officers appearing in the boardroom, which is a great trend. And there will be only more chief design officers and chief creative officers in the organization. We already saw Duolingo, Cisco, Google, JP Morgan Chase hiring chief design officers who are actually deciding what not just the creative strategy of the company is, but also the business strategy of the company, what might be the new opportunities in the market, what might the future hold. And I believe that there will be only more and more shift towards design-led businesses and design at the C-level. But as I said, it's not actually that easy. If only the world was that straightforward and design is great, people are hiring chief design officers, yay, we're all winning. Now, when you move to the level, or you are on the trajectory to move to the boardroom, to those very important business meetings, unfortunately, it's not enough to know everything about your job, about being a designer, about design strategy, and all the things that we are so good at. You actually need to understand the business. As Claudia, Chief Design Officer from Citizen M Hotels, said, when you move to C-level, you stop reporting to design and start reporting to business, which means you will have conversations with CFOs, CEOs, and other people who speak very different language than what you used to. And now you need to translate all the hard work that you do in the language they will understand. And I'm sure some of you had conversations with your CFOs and they understand world differently. So how can you translate all the hard work and all your vision and how you see the future of the company in the language and in the context business people will understand? This is literally the reason why we created Executive Program for Design Leaders, because we believe we need more creatives at the C-level. We believe we need more designers at the C-level, but to get there, you need to learn the business. You need to learn P&L. You need to learn all the marketing terms. You need to understand how wide the organization functions, operations, business strategy, sales, legal, all these other topics that as creatives, as designers, we never taught. Now is the time to learn. And this is literally the number one thing that will transform your career and life if you start understanding the wider business context and how you, with your enormous power of imagination, creativity, empathy, and all the things that you so uniquely bring to the business, how can you show this value to the rest of the organization? Our curriculum of our Design Leaders program has been inspired by Bauhaus, and that's why we call it's MBA Meets Bauhaus, because obviously we do focus on all the very important subjects of typical MBAs, like finance, operations, legal, business strategy, operations, like all these things that you have to know when you start leading the business, or if you run your own organization, if you are a founder, if you want to scale your business, you need to understand how all these different parts work together. But it's not enough. And I do believe that's what typical MBAs miss out on. I mean, revenue is great. And this is literally the focus of majority of the subjects that we cover, how to save cost or how to create more revenue, or how can you understand how company works so you just understand how to bring more value through design. But also, we need to understand the wider context of our planet and our organization. And I do believe that designers are very uniquely placed to actually make an impact in a wider scale that no CFO, no CTO can ever make. Creatives and designers are uniquely placed here. So we structured our curriculum in these 5 layers of being a better person, which means before you start doing anything, whether you're creative, a leader, business leader, doesn't matter. Before you start doing anything, you need to understand who you are. What are your strengths? How do you operate? Clearly, you've done something right to get to this level. So clearly, you figure out so many things on your own. But how about you stop just guessing every time you need to make a decision, but actually have a great toolkit for decision-making, for conflict resolution, for building teams, for motivation, for your own high performance. You really truly understand who you are as a human and how can you perform at the highest level. Now, after you understand everything that's going on inside you, in your own head, then you can start actually building better products and services. And again, you already know how to do this from design perspective, but we focus on other things that as designers, as creatives, we actually don't learn usually, like logistics and supply chain, sales and marketing, and other things that help you actually not just build, but scale your products and services that you provide. Now, you can have your own product in your garage and have a lot of fun building your MVP and have a cool experience just enjoying the process. But if you truly want to scale something, if you want to truly transform the world and create an impact in this world, you need a team. So building better teams, again, a lot of you managing huge teams already, but how can you manage them better? How can you truly inspire people? How can you increase retention? How do you make them highest performance teams in the world so they help you to create these best ever products and services? Now, if you got a team, you got products, you understand who you are as a leader, now you need to create better companies. Whether you're working in a company already or you run your own organization, I do believe we need to think differently about what the companies of the future is. It's not enough just to make the revenue. It's not enough just to have a product. You truly need to stand out. You truly need to change how the company works. We live in a world of AI. Everything is changing. So to build a better company, you can't just rely on the knowledge you already have. You actually need to rethink how you can build and scale companies with incredible products and teams. And obviously all of this for building a better world. And it is so incredibly important that all of us think about how do we apply all this business, all this design, all this leadership knowledge to actually create a better impact on our environment and our cultures, not just on our clients and delivering great products and services for our customers, but how do we make sure that everything we create, everything we do as creatives and designers actually makes a positive impact on the planet. So we will be proud of the work that we've done, and looking back on our lives, when we are 80 or 100 years old, we'll be like, you know what? I've done a great things. I know why I lived on this planet, and I'm very happy where I'm living this planet. So these are the 5 layers, and let me dive into now how the program is structured. So as you know, program has 5 modules, And basically, every 2 months, you have a 2-week module where you dive into all of these topics that I've just mentioned. So we start in July with module about companies. So all these big topics that you need to know to create great businesses or to scale businesses or to make sure you understand how the wider organization works, like strategy, from crafting a vision to delivering the vision to business strategy and growth stages of the business, to operations, finance, organization design, legal, governance. And then, as I said, human goals at the center of every module that we have. So every module, you will be learning more and more topics about how to be a better leader, how to be a better human. So in module 1, we learn more about mind and body leadership, not just about how you think, but also how you behave and how that can make you a better leader. How to change well and resilience. You also will learn about coaching and tools that you can use if you want to coach your team or coach people around you, but also you will get coaching from the group. It's actually very exciting. Each module finishes with a group coaching session. When you learn the tools, you practice the tools, but you also get coaching from your peers. Second module is all about the product, and that's where we dive into the other topics that I mentioned about growth, like pricing, sales, marketing strategy, negotiation, project development, including future strategies, because it's not enough just to build products for now. Again, as I mentioned, the world is changing, so you do need to understand what do you need to do now to make sure you're actually future-proofing your products and businesses, where the world is going and how you can prepare for those changes. So we'll talk about future strategies. We talk about logistics and supply chain. Maybe not the most fun-sounding topic, but trust me, it is incredible when you start diving into all these different aspects. We also talk about new technologies, and every year we actually change what do we mean by new technologies. Again, this year we talked about AI, but who knows, next year there might be something else that is on our radar that actually will be much more important than AI. And this is where we talk about these new future-focused technologies. And also design quality. Again, we all know how to create great products, but how do you scale them, making sure that the design quality does not drop. We also talk about other human topics in this module, like neurodiversity, future of leadership, the role of chief design officer. Again, for those of you who are planning to step into chief design officer role, what does it mean? And again, we finish with group coaching. Module 3 is in January, and that's when we have a field trip to Silicon Valley. It's so exciting. It's everyone's favorite module, and it's much more dynamic. It's differently structured than other modules where we literally go from office to office. We visit Google HQs, we visit incredible leaders in Silicon Valley, as well as investors and meet startups. So we cover all the basics of investment, fundraising, exit strategy, and roles of VC. We also talk about scale, how to scale your company from growth and marketing strategy to your startup journey. And we also talk about other leadership and human topics like value of design, what does design leadership bring in the boardroom, and also the role of craft in the work that you do. It doesn't matter if you're planning to raise money or get investment, or maybe your company will be acquired one day. It's so important to understand how businesses in Silicon Valley work. And I'm sure those of you who actually live in Silicon Valley actually know how completely different the whole area works. Some of the fastest growing businesses are based there. Some of the most groundbreaking businesses are based there. And we can learn so much there. And we can decide if that's for us or not, and if we want to implement in our own companies. But it's so important to be at the heart of it to understand what do they know that maybe will be useful for us to grow our businesses faster. Module 4 is about the team, and that's where we dive into all sorts of important topics of team management, like hiring, the role of a CEO, no hierarchy organizations. We also talk about culture and how to build a strong culture, the future of HR and employee experience. And as always, we talk about human and leadership topics. In this particular module, we talk about cross-cultural collaboration, like when you work in different geographies and have to work with people from cultures. I'm sure a lot of you experience the fun of that. And how can we understand each other's cultures better? We talk about high performance teams. We have an incredible Olympic coach who teaches high performance. And who else better you can learn high performance from someone who actually led our Team GB in Great Britain to lots of gold medals. We also talk about conflict resolution. And as always, we finish with group coaching to learn the new tools and also coach each other. Last module, module 5, is about the planet. I already mentioned how important it is for us to have a bigger vision and actually think outside of our day-to-day work. What is the world that we live in, and what are the different things actually we have influence on? And as creatives, as designers, we have much more influence than we think, and we better start thinking about it now. So We talk about topics like geopolitics, sustainability, ethics, as well as impact investment. We talk about the future, if you want to expand globally, if you are planning succession. So if you're planning to step down from your role, how do you hire for someone to do your role? We also have mentorship, and that's where you also work on your final projects. And also we cover lots of human and leadership topics like media training, crisis communication, building global networks. Again, all the topics that are important for you to take your career to the next level and take your leadership to the next level. And the most exciting part of this module is that you will be presenting your final project. So final project can be anything. And if it's whatever is most useful and practical for you. So if you are planning to become a chief design officer, maybe it will be your pitch to the CEO why this position should exist. Or maybe if you are planning to expand your business to the market, then you will be talking about your business strategy and how you can actually expand to the new market and what things you need to know to be successful. And actually, which markets should you expand to? Or maybe you are starting something completely new and you're raising money for your new venture, then maybe this is the time to present your idea and your startup to some of the most powerful people in the industry. And they have connections, they have advice, and they will share with you what they think about where you should go next and what things you might be missing from your understanding or from your pitch that will make your idea or pitch a success. So whatever is relevant for you, they're judges, but they're less judgy, they're more advising. They will be submitting their ideas and their context and what they think they've seen in the industry that could be helpful for you. As part of the program is obviously, it's not just learning, it's having a lot of collaboration and interaction with your cohort. And this is something that we are very proud of, all the incredible humans that come together to study, because again, a lot of learning comes from people learning from each other. And one of the most spectacular part of it is also graduation, when you actually graduate as exponential design leader. And we always have a special theme for each graduation. Last year it was future heritage. So very much Met Gala style. Everyone picks up their own costume, their own fabulous outfit to graduate in this very spectacular ceremony. So it's very special, and the 1 year flies by very quickly. So it's actually bizarre thinking that it's only 1 year. So in terms of the structure of the modules, as I mentioned, there are 5 modules and 4 of them are in London, 2 weeks long each. One is in Silicon Valley. And each module essentially has a timetable where you are immersed in the learning from morning till late. We want to make sure that you can combine this program with your very busy lives. This is exactly why we basically compressed all the learnings. It's very intensive modules where you start at 9 a.m. You have a 4-hour session from one of our experts where there is a workshop, there is group work, there is interaction, there is discussion. You learn literally from the CEOs, CFOs, and incredible leaders who are leading and scaling businesses now, of how they do their work, how they scale teams, how they do management, how they think about business. So there are a lot of practical frameworks, there are practical tools that they share. It's a lot of energy you need, and literally it's packed in this half-day workshop. Then you have break for lunch, so you have 1 hour break, and then you come back, and then you have another 4-hour session from another expert, where again you dive into a different topic from a different expert who will be covering how they approach work, what they do, and all their secrets, all their toolkits. And the best part is that they really get very honest with all of you, because nothing is recorded. We're not allowing any recording, video, audio. And that makes even the most successful and most brilliant people very vulnerable. They do share things that they messed up. They do share what they learned. They do share how they made something a success. So it's not just the shiny, glorious stories of do this and it will work out. It's actually the tough stories of what didn't work out, what mistakes they made that you don't need to make, so you can actually use their learnings and their frameworks to scale your businesses, to grow more revenue, to get a promotion, to bring more value to the business. So all of that. And also we have a lot of fun. As I mentioned, part of it is a lot of interaction, from bread making to archery. So time to spend with your cohort to unpack all the knowledge that you have and just unwind and learn more about incredible humans they own a program with, because these are the connection that will stay with you for life. And it's quite incredible to see how many friendships, relationships, partnerships come from our cohort. So I always love seeing those stories. A lot of you ask, do we change the content? Does it stay the same? Do we see the teachers? Are they the same teachers that stay every year? So 80% of content stays the same and 20% changes every year. Based on where the industry is going, based on the feedback from each cohort, we want to make sure that we only give you the most practical, the most relevant, the most insightful knowledge they can ever get. So we do select the best out of the best in the industry. We sit down with them and put the most practical content together to make sure that, again, they compress all their 35 years of their experience into half a day session and give you only the most useful and practical insights. And then again, we see where each year needs to develop, what else we need to add or remove to make sure that the program stays relevant to where the world is right now. So from this math, you probably can see that kind of roughly in 5 years, the content can dramatically change. Obviously, it doesn't mean we always change 20 different percent, but it gives an opportunity for us to make sure, again, the program always stays relevant and teaches you only the knowledge that you do need to know now for the businesses of now and for the businesses of the future. And our faculty is obviously incredibly impressive, from Don Norman, the man who does not need introduction, the co-founder of NN Group, author of Design of Everyday Things and pioneer of UX, to CFOs like Adrian Talbot, who is CFO of Miroma Group, or Bidisha, who is Associate Director of Zaha Hadid Architects, or legal people who actually had to deal with a lot of interesting challenges at Monza from the legal side, or business minds like Paul Wright, who led business development at Farfetch, Amazon, Apple, and other fastest growing companies, who teaches his frameworks of how to win new business and how to get more revenue, and how he's seen the biggest companies doing it that's made them so successful. And also incredible leaders like Kay Stannis, who is Global Chief Creative Officer at Saatchi, and Ivy Ross, who is Chief Design Officer for Consumer Goods at Google. So this is just a tiny snapshot. We have over 100 different experts who cover a variety of topics. But all of them are practitioners. You won't find any professors in our program. We do believe that the best people who can teach you how to lead, how to do business, are those who are doing it. So it's only real knowledge, no theory. It's actually practical frameworks and tools these people are actually using in their business, in their day-to-day life, and they will be sharing with you exclusively. They don't teach in other places. They don't share it with other people. They're exclusively giving it to you because they believe that you actually are the new generation of people who can change this world. There is a lot of content. There are a lot of practical framework. Again, these are just some of the snapshots from some of the sessions that we run, anything from sales pitch frameworks and sales velocity to understanding governance and P&L. And we really go into the details of finance and financial operations and business strategies, and again, how you can expand your business to different markets and how you can track your progress, what kind of metrics and dashboards do you need, all these things that usually you're not exposed to from the design perspective. Suddenly you can see all the business side, all the things like pricing, like sales, like legal, that you do need to know when you get to the C-level, if when you want to get your business to the next level. But obviously, to make sure that you actually store this information, we have incredible online platforms. So this is where all these PDFs and frameworks are stored. So you can access them at any point after the course. And this becomes like a really nice way for you to always continue learning, because some of the frameworks might not be useful for you at the moment, but in a year when you start approaching that challenge, that is actually something you would like to use, and you can easily access all the materials and all the frameworks on our online platform at any point, which is actually very helpful when you want to go back to any of the materials. One of the questions people ask us a lot is, who do I study with? Who will I be studying with? Who are these other people who come in the program? And probably from what you've heard, you already learned that all of you will be with 15 plus years of experience coming from creative or design industry. And we see creative and design industry very broadly, from architecture to interior design to branding to tech to innovation, like fashion. It could be any creative field, and we love the diversity of people they bring in the cohort, and that actually creates a very special environment where you're learning from someone from a different industry who has the same challenge, but also maybe approached it in a different way because, again, they see it through a different lens. But as you know, everyone on the program is very senior, from managing partners to business owners to creative directors and executive creative directors to heads of design department. So we usually have a mixture of agency people and in-house people, as well as kind of the traditional creative and design people, as well as we have heads of innovation or independent creative futurist consultants. Again, it's a nice mixture of people who run their own organizations or work in organizations, as well as people who work in-house versus on the agency side. You will see it all, and you will see different perspectives from all of these sides. What do people say about the program? I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the great feedback. I won't dive too deep into that, but I wanted to highlight a few things that I personally feel very happy when I hear that. So Conrad, for example, he came when he wanted to scale his agency. He already built a great agency, was already doing well, but he was thinking how to scale it to the next level. And essentially, he was incredibly happy that he could literally see the frameworks that the biggest agency used to scale, and he could apply it to his own company and create his own business strategy. What's even more interesting about Conrad, he had a traditional MBA from one of the top business schools. And what he said, quite frankly, you probably can find most of those topics on the internet pretty easily if you want to learn. The difference with Future London Academy is that it's a lot more hands-on. Not only that, I feel like I was able to connect much closer to the cohort because they were more similar to me. And again, this is something that is so unique about the people you'll be studying with. They are coming from the creative industry, from very different industries, different countries, different geographies, but they will share your pains. They will understand where you're coming from, and they will be sharing their own tips of how they figured things out. Melissa, an architect, she joined actually our last virtual open day. She was saying, I wasn't sure how will I fit as an architect, but it was very humbling to learn that at a certain leadership level, the commonality of the problems that we face is very similar. So she joined when she was just over the promotion, and she was thrown into this new role and needed support on the business side and the leadership side. And she says, when I sought out the program, I had been trusted in a new leadership role, and the program allowed me to talk more effectively with senior leadership. As a result, it propelled me into promotion, where I'm now a practice manager. So she has her own P&L. She is in charge of the team in her architectural practice, and that's incredible to see someone transforming like that after a year. One more piece of feedback I'll share from incredible Birgit, who is working for Echo, the company that a lot of you know for really good quality leather goods. And she was saying that for her, the most important thing was about building highly performing teams, and how we make financial people or CEOs understand that creativity and design is actually something that you can measure, and how your companies can actually turn into a magnet for talent. So it was incredible to see her transformation, and she got a promotion out of it as well. I'm sure she will reveal her story soon, but it was, again, great to see that not just she learned a lot, but she was able to apply it at Echo, and the senior leadership team saw the results, and now she has a new incredible role. And we also have been highlighted by some of my personal heroes in the industry. That's why it's sometimes surreal to see when they say something about Future London Academy that just blows your mind. So Michael Wolff says that this is an amazing program, gives you opportunity to answer a question that we very rarely ask ourselves. What are you for? Why are you here? What's the point of view? And if you know what the point of view is, are you achieving the aspiration that's built into it? Michael is always my hero. He's obviously the founder of Wolff Olins, but those of you who know his wisdom, every time he says something, you just have a profound insight. So the fact that he really believes in what we built means a lot. Rachel, the CMO of Notion, who teaches on the program, also mentioned that this is exactly what industry needs. It's practical, taught by the top CEOs, CFOs, and CMOs, and focuses on real business knowledge that can help you grow. And Don Norman, the guru of design and UX, the pioneer of the term UX, he also taught in the program. And he, at 89 years old, by the way, so he's seen it all. He's seen all sorts of education, all sorts of design. And he says, the design leaders you assembled are indeed the future leaders of design. I made many friends, and I'm in continual contact with some. That is a very impressive program, excellent for all experienced designers who wish to move up to a leadership position. I mean, I can just retire now. If Don Norman said that about Future London Academy, seriously, our mission is done here. It's all about the experience at the end of the day. There are a lot of fun moments. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll probably see snippets of what's happening behind the scenes. And now we're actually running one of our module, the team module, with our current cohort. So do join us and follow us on Instagram if you want to see the real behind the scenes. One more question that people usually ask us is, what is the difference between a traditional MBA and design leaders? I already gave you a bit of an insight from one of our alumni. But if I have to condense it to just a few things, like a typical MBA is usually 2 years long, it's every weekend, it's taught by academics, and Master of Business Administration is for administration, and it's about 100K. I mean, I think MBA has great application for, I think, if you work in a consultancy and you just want a promotion, but you actually don't want to change what you do, you just want to get a promotion, but you don't want to have more responsibilities or have more impact to make a bigger change. And also you can quit your job for 2 years and study every weekend. I have many friends who've done those types of MBAs, and it's actually interesting to see their journeys. And again, if you have 100K to spare, I would say, why not try out Harvard and see where it can get you. Now, if you're into creating impact and actually want to do something with this knowledge, if you want to grow your business, if you want to make sure that design gets the seat at the table and really want to change the industry, probably Design Leaders is more program for you. So we built it based on the fact that you're incredibly busy. So you only have these 5 modules across 12 months. So they're very intensive sprint modules. So you don't need to quit your job. You only come for the module, you learn, and then you go back to your job and actually can apply everything you learned in between. So when you come back to the next module, you already know what worked, what didn't, and therefore can ask more questions, compare notes with your peers, and again, keep learning that way and keep building your knowledge and experience this way. It's taught by practitioners. As I mentioned, we don't have any academics. We do have only people who do the job. So you will be learning real knowledge from their perspective. It's also focused on future of the businesses and future focused businesses like creative and design businesses. Unfortunately, typical MBAs focus on more traditional businesses. I mean, if you're planning to run a cement, business, please check out traditional MBAs. But if you are planning to create an organization of the future that is focused on creativity and design and bringing something different to the world, then maybe Design Leaders is more suitable for you. And we are trying to keep our price point as low as possible. So it is £35,000. I have to say the next cohort will be the last cohort with that price. We haven't increased price for the past 5 years. So we will be increasing price after the next cohort. So if you're thinking of joining and not sure if you should join this year or next year, maybe now is the time, because we'll have to raise prices after the next cohort. We have payment plans, so again, we can discuss anything that it will be suitable for you. Our point is to select the relevant people who will add something to the world and to the cohort. But if finance is something that is the biggest challenge, again, you can discuss with the team what can be done about splitting the payment across several months. Now, if all of this or any of this sounded like something you want in your life and maybe you will enjoy, then you should apply. An application process is very simple. You just go on our website, bauhaus.futurelandacademy.co.uk, and you leave in your email to request more information. So after that, you'll receive an email from our team that will carefully outline the next steps that you need to do and will take care of you. Our team is the best. They really care about everyone who applies, so they will give you step-by-step guidance of what to do and how to prepare. And after that, you will get a link to application form that you fill in. And if your application fits our criterion, we feel like you can add something to the new cohort, then you will be invited to our online video interview where we'll talk a little bit more to understand if it's the right fit for both sides. Again, we created this program because we believe this is the future of businesses, this is the future of design and creativity, and we want more people to understand how they can scale their creativity in business. But we also want to make sure that you are at the right time in your career, in your business, to join the program. So this interview is very much a conversation about whether it's the right fit from both sides. And then successful candidates, we invite them on the program. We make decisions on bi-weekly basis. So essentially in 2 weeks after the interview, you will hear back from our team whether you've been accepted or not. And if you are accepted, then they will send you more information about all the next steps, all the hotel recommendations, all the things that, again, will make your experience fantastic. But again, it all starts with a simple application. And trust me, we put a lot of effort into selecting the right people. So if you're hesitant, am I right or not, don't worry, just apply. Our team will do our research to make sure that it is actually the right fit for you. So if you're hesitant, apply, write all your hesitations in the email, but we will actually let you know if, from what we know, from what we heard from everyone on the program and what we know about the program, if this is the right choice for you. Now, enough talking, time to actually have an exciting movement. I promised you a tour, so we'll be showing around real behind the scenes of where we work. and where the magic happens. So in a second, I will change my camera and will show you all the things that are happening behind the scenes. Ah, look at this magic. And there are different sides of me. Okay, so welcome to our lovely HQ. So we are currently based where we have a break area. So this is our break area where everyone has their lunches. So as you can see, there are tables here that you can enjoy your lunch break. Or if you want to do just some quiet work, then you can just sit in the corner, just do your work, or you need a break, or just have your own time. As well as it's a nice place to chit chat, again, have this very friendly conversation with your peers and just enjoy your time. It has a lot of air, it has a lot of light. We're very proud of the building we're in, that we carefully selected the place that will be the best for your learning, to make sure that your energy level can stay up, so you do have a lot of air, that you do have a lot of light throughout the day. So look at these massive windows, floor to ceiling, to make sure that your learning experience is the best it could be. The building is in Canary Wharf area. For those of you who know London, it's one of our newest and shiniest and most modern areas that is incredibly well connected to everywhere. And essentially that's, you can travel wherever, from whichever part of London you want, but also we have hotel recommendations for people who want to stay in the area. And it's literally one of the most booming areas. There are so many new places opening every day here, all sorts of incredible restaurants and game places and just exciting exhibitions. So it is the place to be. Now, let me show you some other side of where we are. So this is our lounge area. So this is where everyone chills. And we have some cohort members sitting and discussing something. They're very busy. They're very tired after the long day. So we've got lovely coffee machines there. So if you want to grab a coffee, there is always a coffee machine. There are lovely sofas just for you to chill, to enjoy. And again, if you want to do some work on your own, you can sit at the table. If you need to make a call, we have lovely phone booths. So that's where you can sit and do a client call or presentation whenever you need. Or if you just want to have some quiet time and just lock yourself in the booth and breathe in, breathe out, whatever you need to do. This is a nice place to have your space. Now, let's go to the classroom, the place where all the magic happens. Come with me. And we are entering the classroom. Welcome to the classroom. We just finished the study, so it is empty. But this is a lovely space that we have. As you can see, it's very informal. We have lovely tables where everyone sits in groups. So it's very collaborative, not your typical classroom. We try to make it fun because learning should be fun. You're learning serious topics. It should feel like fun, including variety of chairs, from lovely chairs to we even have some lovely balls that you can sit on that make it a bit more dynamic. And yeah, essentially we have any sort of creative materials you want. We have some refueling station where you can grab a snack or a nut or whatever will give you extra energy and to keep going, because learning requires a lot of energy. Yeah, all sorts of fun creative materials and something that helps you to learn, scribble, whatever you need to do to digest information, and for all the workshops that we run, for all the incredible hard work that everyone does throughout the workshops. We got it all. But who do we have here? Who is sitting in this corner? These lovely humans. This is our current cohort of design leaders. Can you believe that? They stayed late, especially for all of you who are watching. They already finished their studies. They already had a very busy day. And trust me, it takes a lot of energy to stay up the whole day. And it's 6 o'clock in London, and these humans are still going and still have the energy. Yes, yes. So it's a bit of tiring. Well, we'll try to keep it a bit more fun and not too long, and we'll have a conversation with you. So does everyone want to quickly introduce themselves?
I'm Beatriz. I'm Spanish, living in Brussels, and I am the founder of La Colmena, which is a brand strategy firm.
Hi, I am Thibaut from France. I'm working in Orange as a UX designer, and I'm part of a beautiful team. And I'm here to learn very new things.
Hi, I'm Nata Su. I work as a senior product designer at Diplo in Munich, Germany.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So everyone is curious, what does it feel like to be on the program? Now you're on the inside, you probably remember the moment when you're outside and you also like, what is gonna feel like? What is this thing? Like, tell us more.
I can start because I was really curious in the beginning. I think I even tried to contact some former students, but didn't make it. Yeah, so there were a lot of expectation at the same time, kind of a big question mark. And I just remember the first, probably the first hours here. And I knew that it was for me. I mean, I knew the good vibes, the way you've curated the space. And that first model was just incredible. I mean, all the models are incredible, but the first one you get kind of a, wow, it's a huge dose of energy and dopamine. And you feel like you're jumping into the unknown, and then you get pretty much reassured when you get here. I mean, yeah, that's what I felt, like I felt that I belonged here.
I feel connected with 30 people around the world for several months. And especially when we are here in London for 2 weeks, I feel always connected with 30 people.
So, to be honest, for me, the experience was slightly different. In the beginning, I wasn't sure what to expect, and I also thought that I was an odd person because most of them were like founders and like in high levels, whereas I'm still a senior product designer. So for me, it was kind of like it took longer to understand why was I in the program or what I could do in the program. So yes, the first module was really nice. I felt like, okay, this is already super worth it. But I would say for me, the one that really make it clicked was the second module because we went from this company level to a more product level. And at that to me felt like, okay, now I understand where the things are connecting. On a personal level, obviously people here is just really incredible. And I have the feeling the more we spend time together, the more tight we are and we're just more chill. Yeah, because the first module, everybody was like, still like, hi, I am this person. But now it feels a little more like a course, like I feel like in college a little bit. But yes, that was my expectation regarding everything.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. And it's actually so interesting to hear your experiences because obviously I see everyone's transformation throughout the year, but I don't know what's happening in everyone's head. Like, what do you think? What do you feel in the first day when you arrive? And it's quite actually exciting to see all of your emotions. One of the most asked questions that we have about the program, what makes this program unique compared to a traditional leadership program, a traditional MBA? What would you say?
I come from a very kind of traditional background, if you want. I'm like a research background, so far from design, even if I've gotten closer to design. And I knew that I couldn't have follow a similar program designed the traditional way, meaning, like you sit and you take notes and so I knew that it wasn't for me. So I was super happy. I arrived here and I saw what you have made of this, like all these interactive experiences with every teacher is very pragmatical, very hands-on work. There is a lot of exchange with the fellow students and with the teachers who are incredible. I love the coaching sessions. Honestly, the coaching sessions have been probably, like life-changing experiences almost. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an unconventional and out-of-the-box way of imagining how to train senior talent. And I really love, I mean, I don't want to put myself, a stick like I'm an unconventional person. It actually felt and it feels really right for me. It's a very adult way of learning stuff, even if we play a lot as well. I haven't seen anything similar around. So it's a very unique experience. You're not gonna get that in a traditional MBA or whatever. I mean, deep lady.
I'm genuinely interested. Like it's actually quite fascinating because when you, as a creative, as a designer, when you create something, why it's right. You know yourself, like this is the right thing. But when you put it out in the world, how people think about it and what people say might not always be the same how you think about something. So for me, it's so important and incredible to hear how all of you experience the program and it matches the reason why we created it, the reason how we thought about it. So thank you. It means a lot. Thibaut, what about you?
Well, the very joyful and creative way we learn together makes a real difference to me. I would say that in every module and every week, in every module, we have these very human sessions. We have very technical, very skillful sessions about finance, about product strategy. But every week we have very human moments about the real life of CEOs or how to deal with a creative team, how to deal with the boardroom as a creative leader. And so we are always connected to the human parts of the design leaders. And that's very important.
100% agree with you. I think especially with where the world is going, I think we all need to stay connected to who we are as humans and as a humanity and how we all connected to each other. So love this comment. Thank you, Thibaut.
Yeah, on my side, I think, I mean, I have not done another MBA, right? I cannot fully compare everything. But the reason why I chose to do this one is because working in design and in tech brings its own complexities that maybe is not the same as having somebody who teach you about, I don't know, product or textile production. And I wanted to really understand what is the strategies or what are really the business points that I could bring into the business right away. So something really more practical, something that I could immediately kind of do while I'm working, despite of not being in the C-level, but already becoming a leader from where I am. And also the coaching for me was really a tipping point, because from my experience with other leaders, one of the things that you complain a lot about, oh, the leader, the manager didn't do this, oh, what's happening, the layoffs and everything. And I wanted to be more human about this and really understand what could be better from the leadership perspective that is not covered in the MBAs, like a regular MBA. So that was one of the main points why I decided to do this one.
If I may add one thing, that's to reassure the people, is that it comes from a very well thought strategic framework. So since I do strategy, I congratulate you, because all the pieces, they really, hold together very well. It's not improvised, it's not only creative kind of ideas, but it is framed by a very strong thinking, and that makes sense actually. So
yeah, I'm pointing on that. And then also something, I don't remember who said this, but as a creative, I don't need to understand everything about accounting, right? I really don't need that. I just need to understand enough to have the conversation about it and connect the dots. And I think that's also one of the reasons. Yeah.
And additionally, the fact that one of the best ever lessons
Yes, it was in finance. So good.
Oh, great. I'm glad to hear that finance was the hit, because it is probably one of the hardest and the scariest thing for any creatives and designers to learn. But when it connects and suddenly you see oh, it's not actually that scary. It has a lot of parallel with the creative work.
Even fun. But it was super funny.
Fun.
Yeah.
It was a Monday, second week, so we were already wiped out by the first week, and she cheered everyone up,
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah.
I never heard anyone saying finance and fun in the same sentence, but I'm glad we were managed to put it together. what is the most valuable aspect of the course that you have applied to your work? Because I think everyone asks like, okay, what do I bring back to work? Whether you want to explain it to your boss of like, okay, I'm going away for this incredible program, I'm going to bring you something back, or for yourself, if you're a founder or you on your personal development journey. So what is the most valuable thing you actually brought back to and applied at work?
I could start there. I think just as a good segue from what we were talking before is the whole coaching.
Yeah.
Because I mean, coaching and also finance, by the way. But but understanding how to guide also other people instead of telling them what to do, I think for me, and what kind of questions you can ask, and also how to reflect back on move forward. That to me has been one of the key points that I already practice or try to practice at least as much as I can at work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of things. Yeah, sure. I mean, kind of very specific tips from the coaching sessions, frameworks that I apply actually with clients, and I have applied to myself in my own small company. I'm seeing the impact, on a daily basis. So I think that what you get as well is when you go back to your work, you feel empowered. That's what I would like to highlight, in being empowered by what you have learned, but there is a kind of the energy you get here from the other people, it sticks with you and kind of lift you up and lift your projects up. And that's something like I'm witnessing that almost on daily basis, without having to try too hard, because it comes naturally. It's the way you give us insight and food for thought. Like if we integrated that in our reptilian brain and then we built a program to do it. I don't know. Empowerment, I think it's a good way to describe it, at least in my case.
For me, I would say it helped me think out of the daily work of design, and it helped me feel much more aware of the business strategy of my company. And so it helped me take part in this strategy. All I learned about product strategy during module 1 and module 2 was very helpful for me. And now I have a clear mind about what I can push forward inside my company to suggest and to make real proposal for new business approaches and maybe new lines of business inside my company. So it made a real difference.
Different aspects of it. And I have one last question before I let you go, so you can have rest after a very long day. And I seriously appreciate you staying so late because I know how much energy that will require. But what was the most unexpected thing about the program? Because I think everyone comes with high expectations on what the program should be, but what may be the most unexpected thing that surprised you?
The debates. We have a couple of debates, I would say, on how to approach different problems in different ways. And because all of our background is different. Also, the contact with people from Saudi Arabia, for example, right? Like I would never talk probably with a creative from there or from Asia or from Singapore, light designers. Like there's so much input from some different creative perspective that enriches anyways any discussion, because the challenges, despite of being in the creative spectrum, there are still different. To me, the debates have been really nice, basically. Yeah. And the PowerPoint karaoke, which is something that has
happens in PowerPoint karaoke. I kind of agree with Nata. The unexpected thing that I wasn't expecting to get new friends, for instance. And so you get, and then you bingo, kind of, you get friends, you get mentors, professional advice from very high skilled people. So you build this kind of social capital network that is gonna be, and I feel that is gonna be accompanying me for for the rest of my life, I hope. So that was unexpected. That was totally unexpected, because I was hoping to come here, take the knowledge, and then leave. I was less prepared for the human aspect of it and the human connection. Yeah, and realizing that, I mean, teachers are amazing and students are just incredible. So what you get from that? Mm.
Actually, yes, I agree with you. I was expecting to make some friends, but not with all the cohort actually, because usually when you join a team in a company, or even when you join a cohort in a design school, for instance, you make some friends, but not all the class. Okay, so it was quite unexpected for me. And I know that between the sessions, between the live sessions in London, I can keep in touch with a lot of you to get some help or to contribute to subjects I could never imagine, because there are subjects that are built by someone in Canada or someone in Singapore, and I had no idea, absolutely no idea about this business or these issues. And I can bring something, and I did not have any idea about it before.
Ah, love this. I love that we're finishing on a bright note about how we all make friends and stay connected. And literally, I started this whole presentation with talking about how community is important for us as Future London Academy. I genuinely do believe that as humans, we should collaborate more, talk to each other more, become more friends, and just connect and create together. And it's so great to hear that this is the experience you're having and that you are staying in touch and you are helping each other. And I do know for a fact that after you graduate, that it will be even more happening of your collaborations and friendship and things that will come. And like, you are the next leaders we all rely on, and the future is in your hands. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, and we'll let you go to your busy day and rest. And thank you. Enjoy. Bye. 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 And I will continue with all of you on the other side of the screen, because we still have a few things that I would love to share with you. I will get to our lovely conversation about growth marketing, but I thought, while we are talking about humans and incredible people that we meet on the program, I thought it would be nice to introduce you to someone else who was part of the program and actually graduated last year, who is our incredible alumnus, and his name is Ankur. Ankur, how are you, darling?
Hi, Ekaterina. I'm very well. Hello to everyone at Future London Academy.
Hello to you too, Ankur. I'm so excited that we are catching up because, first of all, you probably know that you were everyone's favorite human, and the positivity that you brought to the cohort and the special atmosphere that you created with your love and care, and it's just something out of this world. I feel like we can all learn from your incredible humanity. So I'm so excited to have you today. For those of you who don't know who Ankur is a seasonal design leader with over 22 years of experience in fashion retail industry. Born and raised in India, Ankur's upbringing in a culturally diverse environment has profoundly shaped his leadership style, emphasizing adaptability, inclusivity, and creativity. In 2003, he joined Max, a value fashion brand under the Landmark Group in Dubai, as its first designer. Since then, he grew and mentored his incredible team of 35 designers and fostered a culture of innovation across multiple design disciplines. Ankur then, after studying on our program, decided to take a bold next step and actually co-found the Aesthetic Alchemist Design Studio, bespoke trend and design consultancy based in Dubai. And actually, let me share my screen for a second, because first of all, I love everything that Ankur shares on Instagram with his incredible studio. And this is his incredible consultancy, or rather some content that I picked, because I do believe you need to see it to understand the power of creativity that Ankur has, that obviously he collected throughout the years and now manifested in the incredible business that he runs. And I love that you combine the understanding, obviously, of fashion industry, but also trends in the futures and everything that you're so natural to you. You're such a curious person, so you really feel where the market is going, what's new, but also you have really solid foundation in really operational part of fashion on all things. If anyone wants to expand in the Middle East market, what kind of challenges will they face? What kind of things they need to know? And you bring all this expertise under one roof. So really excited to talk to you today.
Thank you.
How are you feeling, first of all? How's your life?
Nostalgic. I feel really, really good. I think just kind of, I feel like being transported back in Canary Wharf to the lovely FLA headquarters. So thank you. It was so lovely to hear the words of everybody so far. And it just made me realize what a wonderful special program this was. So thank you so much for an amazing, incredible 1 year. I had the best time ever. And the fact that we're still talking about a year and a half or close to 2 since we left says a lot about the kind of bonds that we fostered or foster in this program. So it's been very special.
Ankur, I 100% agree with you with like the bonds and special human moments that we all share on this program. I do believe it's, we don't have enough of that in our lives as adults, as grown-ups, as professionals, of pure human connections with people quite inspiring, incredible, imaginative, but also ambitious, hardworking, and really want to do something in this world. So you kind of fueled by everyone's energy and you want to do more, you want to do better, but you also have support of your peers. So so good to see you thriving and doing new great things. And thank you for sharing, obviously, this conversation to go back to all their lovely memories from the program and answer everyone's questions. So everyone on this call, if anyone has any questions to Ankur as an alumnus of someone who been through the program, please put them in the chat. So we'll ask anything that is on your mind. What does it feel like on the inside? What kind of things Ankur learns or anything, please throw into the chat. And I will start with my questions about your experience. So tell us a little bit of, I suppose, of before, of why did you even think of joining the program? What was you missing in your life, or what were you looking for before you were joining the program?
I mean, great question. And it brings me back to 2023 is when I enrolled in the program. And I think at the time, my boss, my line manager at the time, this lovely Belgian person called Hans, my lovely boss at the time, kind of found this program for me. So he sent me a screenshot on Instagram saying, this is an interesting program, and I think you should apply. He knew that my ambition was to kind of scale up as sort of creative director. I was the head of design and visual merchandising for a lovely fast fashion brand in Dubai. And he said, I think your ambition is bigger than this, and this is what you really want to do. So this course could be a great step. And I didn't think anything of it. I put it on the back burner for a couple of months until he reminded me again. And that's when, I kind of looked into the program. I was like, this is incredible. I looked it up on LinkedIn. I looked up online. I read a few testimonials, and I was sold. I think I was literally the last person to get into the program, probably at the last seat. And I think Ekaterina was really kind. She kind of, we had an interview, and then within like 2 weeks, I was onboarded. So I think I was at a point in my life where I really wanted to take that next step. And of course, while I'm a big fan of academic learning, I thought this was a great one because it was tailor-made to creative and design professionals. And I thought it would be brilliant that as design leaders, there was a program that could really kind of bring us all together and really hear from other experts in the industry to know kind of, what they're seeking, what their challenges are, and how I could take on the knowledge from the program and apply to accelerate my own professional life. And then during the course of this program, I had the epiphany that I needed to do something else. And I then decided to quit my job of 20 plus years and start my own, co-found my own design and trend consultancy in Dubai. So it's quite an amazing year. And I think I have the program to thank for it. It really made me believe in myself, which is brilliant.
That's so good to hear. And I do believe there are so many things that kind of go into starting a company. Obviously, one is business knowledge, but one is also confidence in that you can do it, and support from people who believe in you. I think sometimes this just extra boost that you need to take the next step. And I'm so excited about what you've started and what you're planning to do. So tell us a little bit more about your journey on the program. What would the most helpful, are there any, I suppose, what's the biggest learning? Are there any frameworks or tools that you still go back to? What did you learn from the program?
I mean, I think the entire program was a whole learning journey. And I think the way it's structured over the 5 sprints really gives you time to learn, to absorb from the program, then go back for about 2 to 3 months, apply that in your day-to-day life. For about 3/4 of the program, I was still working. So I was able to put that into work quite quickly. I used to run some kind of download sessions with my teams, teach them a few of the tools that I learned, and I could really see that they were all excited to know these concepts that we had learned. And the fact that you're taught by people who are actually practitioners of design, at the highest levels within the design industry makes it really credible, and it's actual knowledge that you can apply into the workplace as well as into your life. I mean, there have been lots of speakers that truly inspired me. I mean, Shamil Thakrar from Dishoom, and I think I have quoted him before, was so brilliant. Just kind of hearing about him from the hospitality industry and saying, this thing about deepening quality but not diluting it. What is it about generous service? What does it mean to be a leader that is all about generous service, not just to your people, but also to the community at large? I mean, hearing the lovely like Rebecca Robbins, hearing people like, I think it was John Anderson, the one you were mentioning, was the Olympics coach. I think David Hicks from Territory Studios, Sam Bumpus from Bumpus and Pa. There were so many amazing people, and the list is endless, that have been so encouraging. I mean, their points of view were so interesting. I think it sparked a lot of conversation and debate constantly. It made us rethink what the beliefs that we had. And you just kind of learn that through a process of discovery. But also, what is interesting about the program is the fact that you're learning a lot from the cohorts as well. So the amazing people that I kind of had during the program, I mean, we're all great friends, and of course we still stay in touch. We have like quarterly interventions where we get on a call and just discuss how life has been and what we're up to. When I started out my entrepreneurial journey, they were all very willing and forthcoming to help me with leads. And people have been so generous and so kind with their time. And that's the power of community and network. And so have you. I mean, I reached out to you saying, what can I possibly, how could you help me, Ekaterina? I definitely need help to spread the word about the work we're doing. And you were so willing to give me your time. And it means a lot. So I think what you really get away from this program is, of course, you can get a lot of frameworks and a lot of tips about, different aspects of running a creative business, what it takes to be a design leader in today, when it's more important than ever. I think balancing the humanist side along with the technology and the ever pervading AI that kind of seeping into industry. It's important that we remember that we're still humans at the heart of it, and not to forget that, and how we can have a greater impact as design leaders. And having all these frameworks and tools in your pocket really help you operate at that higher level, which is needed sometimes in the workplace. And I think just having those difficult conversations, kind of selling or talking or packaging design as one of the big metrics of innovation and success, and something that can truly drive profitability in the workplace, are great conversations that we need to have. And I think we need to see more design leaders in the C-suite. And it gives you a lot of those tools to have those conversations very effectively in a very robust manner, where people take you seriously and you actually speak the language that people at the C-suite expect you to. So I think it's been brilliant. I mean, I can't talk enough, but I think those have been some of my biggest learnings from the program.
Thank you, Ankur. You're always the most wonderful, sweetest, and just warmest person. So I really appreciate your compliments. Did you have any reservations about the program? I feel like we are saying too many nice things, and it sounds like, oh my gosh, this is like from the first. There is like love from the first sight. But I'm sure before you started the program, as you mentioned, your manager sent it to you. You were not sure if it's for you. What were your reservations about the program? Like, what were you not sure about?
Of course, I mean, it was a lot of money to spend. Yes, it was less than a conventional MBA, but you just think, oh, shall I add a little bit more and then end up going to a Harvard or a Yale? So I did have, of course, that thought did cross my mind. But when I read the testimonials and I did some digging on my own and kind of reached out to a few past alumni on LinkedIn, they were also like kind of generous with, how the program helped them. And when I looked at the roster and I looked at some of the teachers or the people that come to take the classes, and I looked at the pedigree of the people that you're able to bring on board, I was blown away, because it truly is outstanding. And it is a fact. And, I'm not overselling this, but I think the networking is brilliant, not just from your cohorts, but also from the teachers, the professors that come in, kind of, talk to you, and you can have easily between 20 in a module, and you get to see 20 amazing professionals in every module, and they willingly open their LinkedIns and their lives, and they're willing to chat with you and offer you advice. So I think, imagine just the cost alone is, look at the network, look at the cachet that you built just from that alone. So I think I was just kind of sold on the fact that you kind of very openly said this is a program for design leaders to help accelerate, sort of go into the next level in their careers, or wherever they wanted to be in life. And I think it just kind of teaches you a lot and propels you in that direction in the best possible way.
It is so true that our teachers are as excited to see everyone and to meet everyone. When they read everyone's profile who will be studying on the program, when we announce the cohort, they get so excited that they will be meeting all of you. That's why when you message them on LinkedIn, they're like, Of course, we're going to help you because they've heard so many great things about every single person, and literally the reason why they teach on the program, because they are curious minds themselves. They might be having these very serious financial jobs and CEO jobs, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. We want to be connected to the relevant people who are doing something incredible and moving the industry forward. And they know that we select the best out of the best. So they don't need to do their own digging whether this is a good person or not. Like if they're on the program, that means they're probably doing something very, very special and they want to be part of this journey. And they want to say, like, in 10 years, yes, I was one of the first advisors to Ankur's business when he was just starting out, and look at his empire now. I'm so glad I saw him before he was famous across the world. I think it's incredible, like the collaborations and connections that actually happened. What was your, I suppose, most unexpected part of the program? Again, as we discussed with our current cohort, I think when you come on something like that, you have very high expectations again. You invest a lot of money, you invest a lot of time, you are thinking about this long and kind of deeply, like, is it the right time for me to go on a program? So you have a lot already of expectations that you have. So we're obviously very happy when we meet the expectations. But what were the things that maybe you were not expecting from the program at all, or maybe surprised you?
I think the very high quality of cohorts in the program. And I think I have said that to you a few times during the course thing. I don't know how you picked these people, but they're so brilliant. And I think right from the time you have the inaugural dinner and you kind of get introduced to everyone, it's almost like you have a bit of an imposter syndrome thinking, what am I doing in a room of such amazingly talented and brilliant people? So I think when you kind of just hear everyone get up there and kind of tell their story, you're kind of blown away by the amazing professionals that decide to take this program and the ones that decide to take a chance and come here and enroll. And the value that they add to your life is incredible. And I kind of always knew the power of networking, but I didn't know it fully enough till I joined this program. And the fact that I'm still friends with everybody, even after leaving, of course, you stay in touch with some more than others, but you started kind of developing your own little inner circle after the annual. We're still in touch. We speak often. We can, rely on each other for advice. So I think that was quite unexpected. But also the way the program is structured, I think the lessons are quite good. There's a lot that you pack into each module. I think the morning and the afternoons have different sort of frequencies. They have the same connected topic, but they're from sometimes completely different sort of, speakers with a different point of view. And it's interesting that you have so many different topics that you get to know about. And, even things like supply chain, I was personally invested in every single topic. Nothing seemed boring. I mean, just kind of hearing everyone's story. And I feel even if you can take 5% away from each speaker, there's still a lot that you're doing with your life. So I always went in, I took lots of notes because it still helps me just to go back and reflect on some of those points. A lot of those points are just such gems that you want to use when you're kind of speaking to people, just helping you sound smarter, but it's genuinely such good advice. And I also think that some of the fun things that you put into the program, I mean, the archery class, or learning how to make a perfume, or, kind of making sort of baking focaccia together, like all of those were wonderful as well. It's just that sense of community, doing things together. And apart from that, I think just kind of, traipsing all across London, seeing beautiful exhibitions. And FLA is so good at making sure that, the cultural zeitgeist is well represented. You get to do cool things as well while you're in thriving cities like London or San Francisco. And I think that's pretty epic as well. So I didn't expect that it would be so much fun. I thought it would possibly more academic, more theoretical. You might have a lot of homework, but it was actually a lot of fun. So lots of discussions. It sparks lots of conversations. Most things are sort of debates and discussions at your own table. And you can get so much out of that. As much as you will get out of the teachers, you get a lot from the discussions you have with your own cohorts.
That's so good to hear. And I agree with your point about London as well. Like, I personally so proud when people come to London to experience it during this program, because again, London is probably one of the most exciting cities to learn about creativity and design and growing businesses. So I feel so proud when we as a team can introduce people to all sorts of incredible things that happen in London, whether it is the exhibitions or the coffee shops or the restaurants. So I love that this is something you also enjoyed, because I love sharing the love for London. So I'm glad you got a piece of this love. I'd love to ask you a few more questions that people asked us about the program. So potential people who want to join the program, they ask us so many questions, and I sometimes feel like it's better coming from someone who actually experienced it rather than from my perspective. And one of probably the top questions that people ask is like, how can I convince my employer, my boss, my manager, whoever, to send me on this program? As someone who has been actually recommended by your manager, what would you say helps for managers or directors to decide that this is the right program, or maybe what conversations did you have?
I think what's important is kind of explaining or writing up to your manager sort of the before and afters of the program. So where you are currently and where is your ambition? What do you want to achieve in the next 1 year, 1 to 2 years, or long term, and how this program can really help you get to that level. What I would do is I would, look at your own profile and find someone similar from the previous alumni that, that has a similar job background to yours, that has been on the program, that you could actually get some tips from or advice. The affiliate team is also amazing at helping you. So using some of that to build a case for yourself and saying, this is, 1 or 2 case studies, a summary of somebody that went on the program, and this is the impact they had on their business or in their lives. So that would be a really good case. And also telling your manager that, if you put me forward for this program, whether it's fully funded or you could partly fund me, this is how I could contribute back to the organization. One of the most, a word that creatives dread is ROI. But if you truly are able to show the return on investment of this program, saying if you're going to spend so much in developing me, this is the kind of return that you could have, because this is how I can then develop other members of the team, as well as be able to add value or profitability to the business. So I think if you make a strong case using, your personal ambition, but also aligning it with the company's goals and objectives, I think you have a very good case to argue. So wishing you the best. And I'm sure the right companies would put you forward for it.
Very true, very true. Thank you. That's such a great piece of advice. And you're so right. I think it's focusing on what you will bring back at the end of the day. If companies investing in you, that means to be some return of investment. And you just need to quantify what these things could be, whether it is that you will bring the frameworks that will help save money. And we had people who actually implemented things that we have someone in a cohort right now who implemented operational framework that saved her $20,000 in just the first 2 months, because again, they started measuring the right things instead of kind of running things as they are. And we have people who add more revenue to the business by winning new clients. So again, as you said, understanding what might be the most important thing that you can bring to the business right now that your CEO, your manager, whoever might be sponsoring you would actually appreciate and want to get, or it's just access to the knowledge of how businesses currently function. Because when you're a CEO, and I can say that as a founder myself, you only see what you see. You only see your own business. So sending someone to see literally how all the other businesses work and bring this knowledge back to your company is the best thing you can ever do without this person leaving the company, actually working somewhere else and then coming back. So that's a great way to think about that. I would also love to hear a bit more about what you're doing now, because again, as I mentioned, I am so inspired by the company you started. So tell us everything. What is this incredible consultancy that mixes the fashion and trends, and where do you see it growing and going?
Thank you, Katrina. So, of course, when I left Max, which was in March 2024, so coming up to, we just celebrated a year's anniversary of quitting my corporate job of 20 plus years. I co-founded the Aesthetic Alchemist Design Studio with my lovely colleague and friend, Daniel. So he and I are partners in this business. It's a design and trends forecasting consultancy. We're based out of Dubai. We work a lot with B2B businesses, and we work with retailers, startup businesses, founders, solo players, anybody that's looking to do something in the world of fashion as well as lifestyle, design. So we work a lot with helping people make strategies for selling in the Middle East. So if there's a brand that's looking to enter the Middle East, we help them with the product positioning and strategy of how that could work. We could help them with bespoke things around design and trends. We have a global network of a lot of freelance designers all across the fashion capital. So if anybody needs any intel from any corner of the world for any specific or however niche area or category of fashion it might be, we're able to provide that service. So it's been a really fun journey. We've been working with clients from Australia to India to the Middle East, of course, Dubai, Saudi. We're working with clients in all kinds of markets. And we're really enjoying the wide diaspora of people that we've been talking to but also different kind of businesses that we've been helping build, helping a lingerie brand, helping a lifestyle brand from India trying to enter the Middle East, helping somebody build an athleisure business. So we've really been helping a lot of different businesses do lots of creative, fun things. Of course, keeping customer centricity as well as profitability and efficiency at the heart of what we do, but making sure that we're listening to what our clients want, but delivering on that promise very, very strongly. So it's been a really fun year. And we pride ourselves on be amplifying creative voices. We treat our freelancers very well. We make sure that we pass that goodwill on, because that's really important. You must pay it forward.
What I love about the business that you've started, obviously, it's an incredible concept in the company, but also it's really true to who you are. Spending that year with you, like, you are the super connector, you are the person who brings people together. So the fact that you work with network of people and you bring the relevant talent to every project, I think is just so organic to who you are. And also you are, as I mentioned before, a very curious person who really senses where the world is going. So the fact that you consult and add this kind of trend lens to the fashion and operations of businesses, I think it's so unique to what's really, really special about you. So I love that you not just started a business, but you started a business that is you. Like, when I saw your pitch during the final presentation, and then I saw the website appearing and all the content, it just feels like this was created for you and by you, and it's so much fun to follow. And you also bring the business results. Tell us more. Like, now that you know, talking about REI and all the things that you shared, some stories with me about the value you bring to customers. So I would love to hear a bit more about that, to show how good you are of understanding
Thank you, Katrina.
the business of
Without
design.
taking names, yeah, we worked with a lovely Australian client, and they're a fast fashion business, and they have their women's wear business, and they have stores in Qatar and Kuwait. And we reached out to them saying we can help you design a Middle Eastern exclusive Ramadan and Eid capsule for Ramadan of this year. And they just decided to take a chance on us, and they gave us a project to design about 10 options for them, or 10 styles for their business. All 10 of them were bestsellers, and we got an email from the CEO saying, congratulations, the lines did very well, and we want to kind of make this bigger for next year. So it's been so cool to be able to do things like that, by being able to see the value. We delivered the project last August and didn't really hear back, but then we were so surprised out of the blue to get that lovely message, knowing that the work that we did really resonated. This other lifestyle brand that we're working with in India, this is about a 6-month-long project that we run. It's been so wonderful working with this beautiful brand, which is a homegrown label, and they're looking to enter the Middle East. But just being able to kind of add value to all aspects of their business, and really being able to see their business through a lens, preserving their unique identity, but also layering on what the Middle Eastern culture means. And being able to marry the two has been quite beautiful. We worked with somebody else who was sort of in the market, helping them build an athleisure business. And there's so many athleisure brands in the world right now. And since COVID, we all know the importance of comfort dressing. But I think really helping find value, or find an identity, a creative signature for this brand, when, kind of wanting to get into athleisure, and helping figure with the co-founder what this would be and what it would look like, was amazing. And since the brand has rolled out, it's doing really, really well. And we're so pleased to see the results. So I think just like lots of lovely ideas of just collaborating, kind of putting ourselves at the heart of these projects and these co-founders, and working alongside, the power of creative collaboration, being able to listen actively, and to be able to just kind of add value to a business, has been so rewarding. And then to see it kind of, reach fruition, bring value to that business, has been, the biggest gift of this past year.
I love this, Ankur. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for getting on the call. And I'm so excited to keep following all of your updates and success stories, because this is literally why we created the program, to make sure that talented, passionate, ambitious people like you can actually do things in real world and scale them and grow them bigger. So sky's the limit, and I know that you will only get bigger and bigger with your ambitions and creations and results. So looking forward to following. And thank you for finding time to meet the future cohorts, the future people, and share a bit of a glimpse into what you've experienced. It really means a lot, because I think it's so easy to forget all the memories, and going back to all the experience that you had was it's very joyful. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ekaterina. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. I hope you
Thank
got
you.
something out of that. Enjoy now.
Enjoy. Hello, everyone, again. So now we are going to our last part. It has been a very long virtual open day today, but I'll try to make sure that you get the most value out of it. And I promise to you that we will talk about growth marketing. And I wanted to share one marketing framework that hopefully will be helpful for you, because I think growth marketing is something that is on everyone's mind. At the end of the day, we all want to make more revenue, grow our businesses, whether you work for a business or whether you work on your own business. It's so important to understand what are the new channels and how can we grow faster. Luckily, we just came back from San Francisco in Silicon Valley and Palo Alto, where we were there, and we had a chance to learn from incredible Rachel, who used to be a CMO at Notion and spent 3 years there growing it to this incredible success. And before that, she had marketing leadership positions in Slack, LinkedIn, and other organizations. So she's literally at the heart of Silicon Valley, understanding how businesses scale and learn and grow. So I'm going to share a part of the session that she did with us and some insights from that. So first of all, the question to all of you: how did you discover the last software that you've bought? And I'm pretty sure the answer to this question, if you think about the last software you downloaded or any app or anything, is from someone who recommended you, or at least a conversation that you had with a colleague, or maybe a colleague sent you a link, or whether you just were looking for something and you asked your friends, or you maybe asked on the internet. And you're not alone. The trend is that 84% of B2B buyers are now starting the purchase process with a referral, and peer recommendations are influencing more than 90% of all B2B buying decisions, which means that if anyone ever is planning to buy software, but I have to say it applies to any sort of business decisions in general, we do trust recommendation, we trust peers, we trust colleagues, we trust people who are already using the product to recommend it to us. Many companies are taking advantage of that trend, like Twilio has very famous billboards that says ask your developer, because they do understand that the power in the network, the power in people who are using the product. So instead of talking about all the very technical details about, and it's a very technical product for cloud, it's a cloud communications platform. So lots of technical details wise, but instead of putting all of that on a billboard, they're just saying ask your developer, because someone who is using Twilio probably would want to recommend it and will be able to share all the details. Similar concept Apple had ages ago when they did shot on iPhone, and they had these beautiful photos that were shot on iPhone. Same idea, that it's again recommendation from someone who's already using iPhone and getting all the benefits, and you just see the perspective of someone who has the product rather than glorified, polished marketing campaign from a brand. So the question is, what if your users became the most powerful marketing team? How can you use your users, your customers, people who already know your product and use your product as the most powerful marketing team? And that's kind of the new wave of growth strategy that's currently is taking over Silicon Valley. So basically the transition they went from, we used to be very much sales growth led, and it's still very relevant for a lot of companies that require that very much individual approach. Microsoft, SAP, all these big B2B companies that have a salesperson who will have many lunches and many calls and many conversations with someone who is making the buying decision within the company, and they will have all this very personal relationship, and based on that the decision will be made. Since then, a lot of companies moved to product-led growth, and I'm sure you know the stories of Zoom, Slack, Calendly. Dropbox probably was the first one who implemented it, which is someone who is a user might send you a link to a Dropbox folder, let's say, and you will to download a file that they want to share with you, and you will look at the Dropbox and the folder and ask, do you want to create an account? Look, you can you store your files there, and you're like, actually, that's very helpful. Calendly, another great tool that uses that very effectively. When I personally use Calendly a lot, because that's such an easy way to schedule your meetings. So you just send the link instead of going back and forth. What time can you meet? I can meet this time. No, I can meet that time, and try to find these gaps in the calendar. Now you can send just the Calendly link, and person will pick the time that they're available and they see available in your calendar. Once the user does it, they want this thing on their computer. So they're like, what is this magical thing that saved me 10 emails? I want it as well. And they create an account. So that was product-led growth, again, very much adopted by a lot of tech companies in Silicon Valley. Now we are moving into an interesting stage of community-led growth. So that's where essentially we are trying to explore what does it mean to create people who will be advocates for your product. So it's not just the product itself is an advocate, but people around it will recommend, will talk about, will actually run workshops on this product. Again, Figma and Notions are prime examples of community-led growth. I'm sure you've seen all sorts of Figma community groups or Figma events or things that people figure out on Figma that they want to share with others. Or Notion is very good at it with Notion templates, Notion YouTube videos, so many things that Notion community creates on their own without Notion asking them or paying them, that literally promotes the product. Isn't this the dream for any company? So what is community-led growth? It is built on trust and authenticity. So meaning that you trust that the product is good and essentially the people who are recommending the product are just users. They're not paid people. They're not influenced. They actually love the product. They trust the product. And they authentically share the experience and frustrations with the product. They might be actually sharing things they don't like about the product because no one paid them. They just want to share how they're using the product. Users enable other users. So again, it's a user-to-user communication. It's not the marketing team to a user communication. It's not the company to user communication. It's users talking to other users. And community becomes an expansion pack for growth strategies. So essentially, your users, your customers are recommending your product on your behalf without you doing anything. How does Notion do it? So again, Rachel shared obviously example of Notion because that's what they were working on for the past few years. And they had Notion ambassador program. So essentially there was a very hard process where they would pick the ambassadors for Notion who essentially will be doing many more activities apart from, I suppose, what typical user of Notion would do. They would also get perks as part of being an ambassador. So again, that will make them want to do more content and more things around Notion. They had a special campus for their community. So again, there are lots of kind of Instagram groups and other things they implemented. There were official programs. So essentially, thousands of Notion users gather on these community-hosted forums to trade tips, answer questions, meet virtually, share creations. Again, talking back about communities, we as humans want to be connected. And when we are connected around similar vision, similar passion, similar interests, that creates a great bond. And if that similar vision and passion is your product, then everyone is winning. Like someone is getting benefit of your product that you put all your soul and heart into, but also they are sharing their knowledge and tips and feel like they're bringing the value. Notion also had Reddit that is not managed by Notion. Again, what is very different in this approach compared to a traditional marketing is that you actually don't have control of all these groups. You're not the one creating those groups. Your users, your fans are creating these threads, these groups, and you cannot control. You cannot come in and say, you post this, do not post this. You have no control. You have to trust that your users will advocate for your product in the best possible way. And therefore, you should be responsive as a company to make sure if something goes wrong, you're also willing to listen to users and fix things. Again, Facebook's groups in different languages, in different communities. Again, Notion did a lot of things, including TikTok. And like there is so much content on TikTok and YouTube about how to use Notion and Notion templates. This is, again, free generated content. They actually had as part of their strategies, few influencers they did pay to start creating these videos. There is no illusion that suddenly you build a great product and they will come. Of course, there needs to be a marketing strategy. Of course, there needs to be seeds planted in the right places. So they had some special influencers that they collaborated with that were creating the content, but actually majority of content is created by just super fans and users of the product, including this person who made news. He made 1 million in revenue last year selling project management templates on Notion. Literally, someone made money from the business of yours, and obviously that makes everyone win. So Notion gets more fans of their product because this person created templates that everyone can use. This person created the whole business out of this product. And then users are getting templates that actually they enjoy and they're helpful and help them to solve their problems. It's win-win-win all the way. So this is the power of community-led growth. Now, you hear this and you'll be like, Now, should I be, or all businesses should be community-led and user-led? And the short answer is not every business can be community and user-led, but there are prerequisites that will help you identify whether your business and your company could benefit from it. So 3 requirements for community-led growth. So first of all is motivation. So inspired through shared goals, interests. So again, with the Notion example, it's very clear that the community was very much inspired to create and share the tips and motivation to be more productive, be more effective. Autonomy, empowered with control over their contributions and growth. Again, as mentioned, these groups were not controlled, they were not created by Notion, it's all self-organized. So you as a brand, as a company, need to be okay that people will be creating their own things. Not every company is okay with that. Not every company would want that to happen to them. So if you're okay to give full autonomy to your users to create their own groups, their own meetups, they will talk about their product, they will talk about your product in the way they want, not how your marketing team strategized it. So it needs to give autonomy and recognition. You need to publicly celebrate their efforts, achievements, and success. So again, you need to give something back. They need to get certain perks. They need to get something out of this contribution. So they'll keep doing this. Again, in Notion example was the users were connected through the love of building with Notion and creating these very effective templates. Autonomy, that was free to self-organize, start your own groups and businesses. Notion did not intervene with anyone trying to do something. They didn't sue anyone for using Notion and Notion's logo in their own businesses. As you can see, someone built the entire business on Notion. Maybe some other company would say like, look, you might owe us some money now that you made a lot of money from our company. But no, Notion actually celebrated that. And recognition, ambassador, campus leaders, fellowships, money, whatever that is that you can give back to your users, whether it is pure recognition, where you give them a badge of fellowship or campus leader, that's what your Notion was doing. Or you physically give them referral money or special perks, early access to the product, or something else that they would value and they will feel like they're part of that community. So to summarize, instead of thinking of the funnel, the traditional funnel in a marketing business where you get lots of users and kind of try to identify the right one and sell to them, this is very much a loop where you start with awareness of like social media and content to acquisition. So you need to have frictionless sign-up process to your product. Then activation, giving onboarding and templates to people in tutorials so they can actually start using your product quickly, and then upgrading them, showing them that they can become these consultants and ambassadors and advocating champions and community. So then they will create more awareness and acquisition activation, and that this loop keeps going. So again, in Notion example, the awareness came from TikTok and Reddit and YouTube videos, and then people could easily sign up themselves or with a team, and then they had the template marketplace where people can download templates and start using Notion straight away. And then they could upgrade and create consultants or get consultants in team champions. And they could become themselves advocates and ambassadors and champions and campus leaders. So again, to continue this loop. And yes, many companies are now using this community-led growth, from Duolingo to Miro to HubSpot and Zoom. So it is something worth considering. Again, as I mentioned, it's not for everyone, but it's something if you're looking for new marketing channels to expand your user growth and company growth, it's a great framework. Obviously, try to compress all the knowledge and all the insights in a very short, 15 minutes. But I would love to give you some tips for the road in case you are now thinking, okay, maybe community-led growth is something that I would want to try. And make sure you solve a problem individuals, not just companies, care about. This is very much focused on a person. So the person needs to feel passionate about it. That means you need to be solving person's pain, not just the company's pain. Make it easy for them to get value and tell other people about it. So yes, they need to see the value straight away, and it needs to be very easy to talk about it and do something with it. Again, in Notion's example, those templates are very shareable, very easy to talk about. Make it easy for them to buy and help build your business and their own. In this example, they could sell the templates, they could share the templates, they could build so many things themselves. Educate, inspire, and empower, and transform your users from customers to co-creators. I think it's so important, this empowerment and motivation element, because again, they put a lot of effort. If you are involved in your community, you need to make sure that actually they're inspired by you as a company, by your vision, where you're going, And also they want to be the co-creators instead of just being paid customers. So what is that the special you create? Is it your product is so amazing they can just not stop shouting out about it, or whether it is about the perks that they get from being these ambassadors? So how can you motivate and empower your users? Okay, so I am done with all the important things that I wanted to share with you, and I am so proud of all of you who stayed until this point, very late for some of you in European time zones, and even late if you're in Asia. But I really, really appreciate all of you staying, and I would love to use this opportunity to answer any questions you have. And as I mentioned, if I need to stay longer to answer more questions, I'll be more than happy to do that, because I want to make sure all of you have full understanding of who we are, what we do, because what we've built, as you've heard from everyone, we put a lot of effort into this, and we are focused on selecting the right people. Part of the magic of the program is to make sure we create this special cohort that is full of diverse opinions, diverse people, ambitious people, people who want to do something in this world. So it's important for us that we make the right decision on the selection, but also that you as a person make the right decision, that this is the program for you. So I will start answering questions and now from all of you. Will this course help if I'm looking to start my own agency? Great question. As you probably heard from Ankur's story, yes, if you're thinking of starting your own business, this is really good way to literally create the foundations to make this business a success. You probably could learn everything from your own mistakes in 10 or 20 years, or you can learn from companies who scaled the businesses and just apply their framework. So your process of growth is much smoother and less painful, and also faster. So yes, you will definitely learn a lot if you are looking to start your own agency. Who will be the professors? What can we find out about the alumni? So the professors are they're professionals, and that's what we love about them. That's people who you see on our pages. They are the teachers, and as I mentioned, they are the real teachers. They're not just the faces we put on the page, and actually people who teach are some low-level practitioners. No, people, these superstars that you see, and you could not believe that we'll be teaching on the program, they will be. And I know it's too good to be true, but it is. And this is why we are so proud of the program that we've built, that literally every single person who teaches on the program is outstanding, incredible, impressive professional who will be sharing how they grew their team, scaled businesses, mistakes they've made, frameworks they use, all of this important information on the business side. You will be learning directly from these incredible superstars and design legends. Who is the program for? If you have 15 plus years of experience in creative or design industry, and we see creative and design industry very widely, anything from architecture to branding to tech, to fashion and product design. And if you are within those fields, or your work requires creative problem solving, so you're not dealing with problems of now, but you're thinking of businesses of the future, and you already very good at design and already very good at what you do, but you want to be better on the business side, on the financial side, on the operation side, become a better leader to your team, then this is the right program for you. Where in London will the program take place? It's in Canary Wharf. Earlier I was showing a lovely tour around our space. It's literally the shiniest, the newest, the cleanest, the safest spot in London. So you will really enjoy staying here. What are the key skills and competencies will I develop in this MBA for Design Leaders program, and how will they help me in managing creative teams and strategically developing brands? Great question. So as you've seen from the structure of the program, you will be diving into various aspects of running the business. So you will be learning how the latest marketing strategies that you can strategically apply to your brand. So if you are working on a brand or you're within the brands, you will learn how to grow it, how to scale it, literally all the latest frameworks. They're not published anywhere yet. They don't exist anywhere on the internet. People will be teaching them straight from their own toolkits and playbooks. You will also learn a lot about how to manage the team and grow the team and create high performance creative teams, which again is a very difficult tension. I think creativity as type of job and type of work is very unique and special. So not all the rules in traditional businesses can apply to creative and design teams. So that's why we have so many incredible design leaders and coaches and psychologists and teaching on the program who show you different angles to how you can show up as a design leader and how you can work with your design and creative team to get the most out of them, as well as create the culture that will empower people to create their best work. How does this program compare to master's degree like MA? I'm choosing between getting a master's and this program. What would you recommend? I suppose traditional master's degrees like MA, Masters of Arts, are very good if you are thinking of academic career, if you want to do more writing, if you want to teach at the university. I think master's programs are really good because they teach you the academic language and academic writing. But if you want to work in a business, and especially you have ambitious plans in the business, you want to grow your business, you want to do something different in the business, then Design Leaders Program will teach you the actual real skills rather than the theoretical things. So you will learn all the toolkits, you learn all the frameworks, how to do what you want to do and essentially get the results that you want, whether it is, again, getting a promotion and getting design to a board level and becoming chief design officer, chief creative officer, and showing the CEO and CFO the value design can bring, or whether it is running your own business and getting more revenue, getting those dream clients, expanding internationally, whatever that is. This is the program where you will learn from people who've done it, how to do it. And that is very unique to who we are as Futureland Academy. We only have professionals teaching, but also this is what we believe in general in education, that it should be practical, it should be applicable, it should help you achieve your results. It shouldn't be just for the sake of learning. So if you want to become an academic, go for MA. If you want to become a successful professional, then please apply for Design Leaders Program. We'll be happy to review your application. What's the balance between theory and practical application in the program? Fantastic question, because I know I say the word theory like it's something bad. I would say frameworks are good mental models for all of us. So sometimes, again, it's when it's too much practice and you don't have any mental framework for something, it's also very difficult to apply it because you almost kind of only see a unique case of something rather than like the overall framework. And that's where we really, really work hard on striking that balance between sharing all the frameworks, really extracting the best knowledge from all of our experts to make sure that they put the content in a way that you can understand the high level view. But also then we go dive into practical application of it, into case studies that they share, real things that happened within their businesses, real metrics that they saw within the businesses, real pivots that they had to make in their businesses. So you do see overall framework and high level view, but then you dive into how to apply it to your business and how they've applied it to their businesses. Let's pick some questions from the chat. Guillermo is asking, is there also a networking platform included as part of the program? Great question. Yes, we network in many different ways because, as I mentioned, community is very important to us. So first of all, when you join the program, you will join a WhatsApp group where all of you will be joined together. And these WhatsApp groups live throughout the year, but also obviously stay afterwards. And it becomes your support network. Whenever you have a questions you want to ask, you can just drop a question in the WhatsApp group and there will be someone who will give you an answer. Or if you want to share something you've personally found and you want to share with everyone a book that you read or framework that you have, that's also a great way to share, debate, discuss, ask. So you have the WhatsApp group for life, and people, again, have reunions, travel to each other's countries and businesses and collaborate, and because now you're essentially connected for life. We also have a digital platform where you can see all the presentations stored. You can see all the teachers, their names. Again, so when you want to go back and find someone who taught you a particular subject and maybe contact them on LinkedIn and ask for advice, again, that's a great way to do that. We also love cross-pollinating the alumni. And I was actually checking the LinkedIn last week and I saw that we had actually Ankur, who is just on this conversation now, who met with someone else whose name is Mohit, who was in a previous cohort. So it was great to see them meeting each other and collaborating and just building new friendships and new networks. So there is a cross collaboration between alumni, and we are planning more cross alumni events coming up that again will enable this cross pollination of brilliant leaders. Hopefully that answers your question, and definitely that's something that we're very proud of, the connections that you built throughout the program. What are must-read books to learn more about these topics? Great question. We actually have a resources page that the team can share with whoever asked this question. And essentially, we always ask our teachers what are the best books that they are reading right now, what are the best podcasts they're listening right now. And we love sharing that information on our Instagram, on our blog, and constantly update the list of books to read, because we know not everyone can join the program, but we love sharing the content that can help you understand more about these topics. As I mentioned, constantly sharing new things on LinkedIn and Instagram. So if you're not following us yet, then maybe now is the time to make sure that you stay up to date to the freshest resources. What is unique about the program? I love this question because I feel like it might sound like a trivial question, but actually sometimes it makes me think, considering how fast the world develops and the choice is unlimited. It's like with dating. You go on an app and there are many candidates that you can choose from, and you're like, what are even the criteria? Same with learning. Like literally, you can go on YouTube and learn so much. You can go to any MBA in the world, and there is unlimited choice. Depending on what you're looking for, you can find something for yourself. So why did we feel like Future London Academy needs to create this program? Why did we need this program needs to exist? And there are a few reasons that make this program very unique. One is that we believe that design-led businesses and creative businesses are the future. I cannot talk enough about the power of creativity and design, that the problems of now cannot be solved with the approach that we had all these years. They're very much finance-driven companies, and finance is important and spreadsheets are important, but this is not the only way to solve problems. So if all of us only solve problems through that, I don't think we'll end up in a good place. So I want more creatives and more designers be at the C-level, run their own companies and run very successful companies that create incredible impact. So this is why we created this program specifically with creative and designers in mind. It is a very much MBA level program focusing on all important business subjects, but specifically created for designers and creatives, which means that first of all, we understand how creatives learn. We understand how designers learn. They cannot sit still. They need interaction. They need more engaging session. It's not just sitting and listening. It needs to be interactive. It needs to be practical. It needs to be visual. The room needs to be different. The chairs need to be different. Everything needs to be different to make sure that creatives and designers do get the most out of the learning. Second, the actual learning needs to be different, because as much as we need to understand how businesses work, creatives and future-focused businesses work in a different way. So we need to bring you case studies and toolkits that work in those businesses to make sure you can apply to whatever you're running, whether you're running a creative agency or product studio or something that needs to exist in the future and cannot use the framework from the past. So all of our content is very much fresh and is coming directly from these successful, fast-growing design-led businesses. And the third thing that is very unique about the program that you probably heard a lot from the cohorts and alumni is the people. You will be surrounded by other creatives and designers who are beyond successful, beyond inspiring, incredible humans who are also ambitious, want to make a difference, want to create a positive change on the planet, and do believe it's possible. Sometimes we need optimism. Sometimes we need to be surrounded by people who believe in your vision. And it's sometimes hard to be the only design creative person in the company trying to drive this agenda. Imagine if you are surrounded by 30 people who believe in the power of creativity. What can you accomplish together if you all support each other, if you learn from each other and successes of each other and mistakes of each other's journeys? And it's incredible to see the power that it creates in the room when everyone comes from different cultures, different countries, different backgrounds, different life stories. So you can learn so much, but also you have the same passion. You do understand each other's challenges. When you talk to someone, they immediately understand your pain and actually want to help you. This is so powerful. Beyond the teachers and the learnings, the cohort itself is an incredible power that I guarantee you, you will never ever find on any other program, whether it's MBA or leadership program on this planet. So this is something that's truly, truly unique and creates probably one of the biggest differences for your future, because this support network will grow with you for life and will want to help you for life. Very rare as adults we get that anywhere. And this is the place where you will get those new friends, new connections that are inspiring, ambitious, successful, and want to grow with you. And I feel like probably that was the last question. And thank you all for your kind notes in the chat. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to the team. We will follow up with a recording of this session, and you feel free to reply to that email to the team if you have any more questions. We always want to make sure that you get all the information you need, and we want to be inspired by all of you. So please do apply. Please bring the new voices to the room. I want to make sure that more creatives on this planet do achieve their ambitions and do incredible things. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for learning. I am so proud that all of you exist on the planet and already doing great things. And I just want to make sure that we'll all do something great together. And on this powerful note, let's go back to our lovely evenings. Thanks again. Thanks, Future Learning Academy team, for sending all of our bright love and yellowness and positivity through the other side of the screen. And please share your insights, connect with me. I'm Ekaterina Solomeina on LinkedIn, and I'm always very friendly and always love meeting new people. So thanks, and until next time, bye.